When Ford introduced active exhaust as an $895 option on a 301A or better equipped 18 through 19 Mustang GT, a lot of people questioned how popular that option would be. Now honestly, it's actually turned out I didn't think it would be, but a lot of people love the active exhaust because you can quiet the car down when you want to, plus also make it loud. The only drawback to it, the loud mode isn't really that terribly loud. Well, thankfully aftermarket has us covered, and today we're going to install a Borla active exhaust on this 2018 Mustang GT. This is the Borla ATAK, fitting a 2018 through 2019 Mustang GT with the active exhaust option. Now the ATAK is the loudest system Borla offers, and it stands for acoustically tuned applied kinetics. What that basically means is the ATAK is loud when you want it to be, but no drone at highway speeds. The active will make that even better, so allow you to actually turn the sound down if you don't want it loud, but when you have it wide open, you get all that ATAK sound. Now this is going to have the carbon fiber tips, feature 304 stainless steel, 3-inch with mandrel-bends, and it'll be a direct replacement for your factory catback. For this installation with a lift or a jack and jack stands, 3/8 ratchet, 13mm socket, and a 15mm socket. Now for the most part, the installation for an active system is pretty much the same as the passive system. The difference obviously is the electric motors that open the valves in the mufflers. Now since they are electric, we're going to unplug them. First we're going to do is disconnect your battery. It actually resets the system, makes it much easier to get it working with the new installation. After that, step 1, unplug the motors from the wiring harness. Okay, reach up on the plug, push, and the harness, you want to clip it from the body. All right, then the same thing on the other side. All right, now the rest of the install is the same as a normal catback. Remove these 2 bolts, remove the rear hangers, and loosen the clamps up front. All right, don't remove these nuts, just loosen them. All right, remove the retaining tabs, just bend them out of the way slightly with a screwdriver here. This will be a 2-man job. What you can do is slide the catback back, release it from the front pipes, and then slide it forward to get it off the rear hangers. All right, begin the installation of our Borla ATAK up front here. Grab the factory clamps, bend these tabs back down, reinstall them. Then in place, Borla provides these adapters. This will convert it from the factory piping to the 3-inch. All right, now we can snug down these clamps. Just leave them a little bit loose so we can make adjustments later. All right, now we're going to install the X pipe that goes where the resonator was. Make sure you put the clamps on. Just snug these for now. Okay, now you want to grab the under axle pipe, a clamp, and the factory hanger. Borla is nice enough to label these and make it much easier. Put the clamp on. Put that into place. Get it roughly where it's going to go, and then again, snug it down. All right, before we install our new ATAK muffler, we got to pull the electric motor off of the original exhaust. Now, these aren't side specific, but I still like to keep them on the same side anyway, so we'll do it one side at a time. and slide that off. All right, so you want to begin the installation with the Borla ATAK muffler in the open mode. So make sure you can turn this by hand. That'll be closed. That is open. What you want to do, and we'll close up on this in a second. Basically what happens is when this goes in, this spring here is going to sit in the opening for the valve. And what happens, that's what's actually going to open and close the valve. So you will have to turn it and kind of adjust it. It can be tricky to get this lined up properly because the motor will not move, but the valve will have a little movement to it. Make sure it is seated properly in there and then tighten it down with the factory hardware. All right, so I disconnected the harness to make this a little bit easier. Okay, we're checking here just to see that it is indeed seated. Install the hardware and tighten it down. When you use this factory bracket here, you will have to bend it to make it work though. You should just flatten out a little bit. This keeps the wires kind of away from the exhaust. And we'll adjust it as we need to on the car. And it's ready to install. Okay, we're gonna grab another clamp. Careful of the wiring. Put up in the rear hanger. Get it roughly into place and snug it down. Okay, now bring the harness down. I'm going to plug it back in. And put it back in the original spot. Okay, with it plugged in and out of the way, now we can reinstall the bolt for the hanger, make all of our adjustments, and then repeat the process on the other side, and your installation's finished. Let's fire up the Borla ATAK and see how it sounds. It's going to start off in the normal mode. Now we're going to hit the pony button and go through the different modes. Here's quiet. Normal. And then track with the valve wide open. Definitely a huge difference. Go back to quiet. Normal. And track. Sounds great. Let's take it for a ride. So it's no secret I like the sound of the Borlas in the 2018. I run the ATAKs on my own car, so I was really curious how the active would sound. Now, we have it in normal mode right now, and normal mode, I would say, kind of sounds very much like the S-Type. I mean, it's still loud. It's definitely not quiet by any stretch. It has that Borla sound to it, and I'm sure, again, no drone, nothing like that. But we're going to drive around on normal for a little bit, and then we'll get it on the highway, and we'll switch to the ATAK, which would be the track mode, which will make it go full valve open, which should be equivalent to the ATAK I have in my 2018 with the passive exhaust. Now, the way the valves work, in case you're not familiar with it, when you have it on quiet mode, it shuts the valve completely. Normal opens it just a little bit. Sport opens it further, and then wide open when it's in floor, you have full load on the car. And then track mode is valve open all the time. So that's the loudest setting, which should be equivalent to your standard ATAK system. And you can adjust these via the controls in the dash, and they're also going to change when you go through the modes on the dashboard for the switch. This is normal mode. It kind of sounds like an S-Type, maybe not quite as loud. Just for the hell of it, we'll put it quiet, and it disappears. It sounds like a stock exhaust almost. I mean, you can hear it, and the tone's better than stock, but it is definitely quiet, but we don't want that. Let's go to track. Now the valve's all the way open, and it's a lot louder. And no drone at all. I mean, we're the highway speeds and nothing, but yeah, that gets nice and loud on the track mode. But this is where it's nice to have the system. We're coming up on a neighborhood here. Put it quiet, and it's quiet. I mean, almost too quiet. You gotta check to see if the car's even running. I give it throttle, you hear it, but at cruising speeds, it completely goes away. But this is a system you could easily just leave on normal mode all the time when you're driving around, and yeah, it sounds good. It's got plenty of bite to it. And if you want a little bit more, just switch away. And if you follow our channel, it's obviously no surprise that I'm a fan of this exhaust. I run the Borla ATAK on my own 2018, and the system here sounds pretty much exactly the same. When you have it in track mode or it's wide open, it sounds great. But if you want to be quiet, you have that option as well. And you can't go wrong with the carbon fiber tips. They look absolutely amazing. As far as the installation goes, it's a typical catback, really. You got to transfer the motors over, but it's still an hour-and-a-half install, maybe tops 2 hours, and be back on the road in no time. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you click on the CJ button so you subscribe for future videos, and click the corner up here for more videos for your Mustang.